you go. I'd love it if I got it totally wrong. Yeah, right.
Look, I hope you do, because it makes for better content for me personally.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Another episode of Comedians in Bars Getting Blind, tasting those because we don't support people getting blind drunk. This week I'm joined by Luke Benson, stand-up comedian extraordinaire.
Like up until June this year, like a lot of you models, I was only 6'1". Right, then I bought these tablets off the internet that said grew 6 inches in 3 weeks, and that plan backfired.
All the way from the Edinburgh Festival. You're doing Best of the Edinburgh Fest here at Fringe this year, aren't you?
Yeah, that's where I live outside of Adelaide, and I live at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
There's the two Fringe festivals that you bounce back and forward between.
I'm in a time loop, so I only really get 2 months of the year, and then I'm in like some sort of cryo, like a time bubble outside of that, and they bring me out.
That's honestly what it kind of feels like in Adelaide, except the two time bubbles are like, it's fun when Fringe is on, and then it's just Adelaide the
like
rest
a
of the time.
bigger bubble.
Yeah, we were just talking about it out there in the sense
Madelaide, Sadelaide,
Radelaide,
Undadelaide.
Yeah, there's a lot of different Adelaides going around.
Right.
But what we're here to do today, mate, is
sir.
to try and crown you as the king of Chardonnay blind tasting. So what we've got is we've got 3 different bottles of white wine. They're all Chardonnays. I'll give you that as the hint. One of them's worth $150. One of them's worth $5, and one of them in the middle is around that $40 mark. You know, you're going on a date, you can't really afford to splash out, but you don't want to buy the cheapest bottle of wine on the list, sort of thing.
Yes.
Your mission today is to identify which is which through your excellent palate, your nose, all of the visual senses. You can touch it if you want to, just keep it in your own glass, not in mine, because obviously we're being COVID safe in these unprecedented times. But yeah, which one would you like to start with? We've got the jug, we've got the French press, and we've got the little antique one that I definitely didn't get from an op shop.
Well, that's beautiful, the antique one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite nice.
Like it used to hold cyanide in or something. Can we just work from my left, like left to right? We'll do the, what's that, like an old Cooper's tank or
a bit of a, yeah, I think that this is actually vintage, established 1947. I got it from Kmart, so it's very impressive that
they've been around for ages.
They have been around for ages.
Glassware.
They have been. Now, what do you know about wine, Luke?
You get like, you've got your reds and your whites and your roses that aren't a hybrid of the two.
Yep.
Grapes, mouthfeel, soil, altitude, climate have a bearing. Like, you know, like war criminals, some of the best ones come out of Europe.
Yeah, I think you're almost overqualified to be on the show based on some of the people that we've had on already.
Right.
What about Chardonnay in particular? Have you had any Chardonnays before?
Sorry, I jumped right in.
No, you're fine. That's what they're here for.
It's my second favourite thing with hard on in it. I've thought of that sat here. I hope that's okay.
That's cracker. That's
nice.
really
it's
good.
Like a late dinner wine in it.
Light dinner wine, let's see.
It's not going to take your head off.
So typically with Chardonnay, you're going to have like, it's sort of like a structural white wine. You've got like buttery, you've got woody, you've got a bit of oak in there most of the time. So on the channel, I'm a massive fiend for assuming every white wine is Chardonnay because it's one of the ones that I actually know the name of varietally.
Right.
But this does smell a lot like Chardonnay.
Would you ever recommend putting additional butter in your wine? Like if you're doing sort of bulletproof whining?
If you're really steering into the butteriness of a Chardonnay, you just lop a knob off and chuck that in there as well.
Trying to get your calories.
If you're on a bulking diet potentially,
Yeah.
but as you know, you and I being massive gym rats that we are, we understand the culture of that.
Yeah. So yeah, where you get the buttery hints.
There's buttery hints in there. You could do with a little extra knob, in my opinion.
Oh.
You into it?
No, that's beautiful. I just feel like such a high level innuendo like that when you want to, it could like, that's what she said, when you could do with an extra knob in it.
Could always do with an extra knob.
I felt like it warranted,
ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Record and try not to overwhelm the palate.
Yep.
So I'm sensitive because I'm serious about the assignment that isn't that serious. But
this is extremely serious. This will be going on your record. Like, it'll be when you're doing your next shows, like, you know how comedians always have 5 stars, witty, engaging, down to earth. if you don't get this right, it's going to be 1 star. Doesn't know he's
Yeah.
cheap from expensive Chardonnays. We can't have that.
Down to earth tones.
Down to earth tones, exactly.
The thing for me really with comics doing this is a lot of them have award winning on their artwork. You don't have to say what the award is. Like if they've come away with that magnificent your crown,
Yeah.
it's straight on the biog.
That could be award-winning stuff right there. I do seem to think there are a lot of fringe posters around Adelaide with a lot of awards on them.
There's a lot of awards.
There are a lot of
fundamentally
awards?
there's a lot of awards.
Yeah. We are a participation culture society these days.
Comedy's meritocratic.
Yes, I've got an arts degree, but I didn't pay that much attention, so you're going to need to explain meritocratic to the listeners. Obviously, I understand.
Yeah. So you're like a wonder, right? So just win stuff. People want to win stuff is like a way to like not have to gamble. Then like you go do a competition, we'll recognise you as good.
Yep.
When like a small judging panel has recognised you as good, and
Yep.
that way they've done the heavy lifting of filtering out. There's also quite a lot of shit.
So, like, well reviewed.
Yeah.
It's peer-reviewed journals, essentially.
Yeah.
Why not? Out of the glass, is that feeling 150-ish? Is that feeling 5-ish? Is that feeling 40-ish?
I would say that is drinkable. I would be loath to call it 5-ish, somewhere either 40 or the 150, but let's see. I've not really drunk this festival, so my sensitivity to wine and awareness of it will grow over our time together.
We've got you fresh. We've got you fresh.
You're supposed to keep wine in French presses, is that right?
Yes, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what I found, multiples. See, you're the first person to recognise the multiple uses of the French press on the show. So already, hats off to you.
Yeah.
These all look the same colour to me, so I don't even know if it's worth talking about the colour. Are you picking up any differences in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that the one in the French press
Yes.
had a Baroque a day ago, so it's still coming out of the system.
Okay.
But there's a slightly more yellowy orange hue to middle one. That might be where I am in relation to the bar top.
Could be the
Coming
case.
through. Light is tricky, innit? We're at different angles, because you're what, like 6'5"? I'm a huge man. And everyone knows I'm 8'5".
Yep. Put that on my tombstone. 6'5", Henry Doyle. Next to 8'5", Luke Benson.
Yeah, I would say that one. That one's like hydrated. Probably needs to chill out on the water. That one on the right, healthy.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Let's go in the middle. French pressed it. It's double. This is double filtered, so it's like a very cheap vodka essentially.
Would the press have like any impact on
The aeration.
Refiltering and aeration, refiltering out perhaps any sediment? So if you cork a wine, could you French press it? Would that save the wine?
Okay, so if you corked a wine, you could French press it, but it would still taste terrible, I reckon.
Yeah.
I don't think it would fix. Then again, I don't know that to be true.
Right.
There's a chance you're onto something, but at the same time, we can't confirm or deny.
Yeah.
That smells like Chardonnay.
I got an AeroPress, don't doing a brag.
Oh.
Maybe that could save it, because that's like the fused filter papers.
That's something we could do. We could experiment with different coffee making procedures and what it does to the state of wine. Surely cold drip wine would be good.
That tastes like Chardonnays of my youth.
The
Yeah, it tastes like
Chardonnays.
Chardonnays that
you
that
grew
is
up
like
on.
what I would associate with going to a bar. Your options really in the UK generally are like Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, perhaps a Semillon. Yeah, that would be.
Fits right in the Chardonnay
Yeah.
slot for you. I bought these wines, so I should be able to tell you more about, like, I should be able to figure out what's the expensive and what's the cheap. But like, does anything jump out at you about those two being different? Because they taste incredibly similar to me.
There's like a nostalgia alarm bell that's going off for that one, which infers that I probably had a bit too much of it. So I'm sort of leaning more fibers on that one.
Maybe cheaper because you've had more of it.
But that one's like, imagine it didn't like, my body didn't go, is it okay to curse?
Yeah.
My body didn't go, whoa there, fucking chill out.
For a second, I thought "whoa" there was the swear you were
Yeah.
worried about, and I'm like, we're not that conservative.
Homie is Ned Flanders. See, he's
Goodness me.
He's TV ready. Yeah, there was none of that. I feel like you could lose an afternoon very kindly with that one.
Yep.
So that's the early 5 iron nominee.
I do love the idea of kindly losing an afternoon. That is such a lovely way of saying you just get absolutely
Sat about, blind
Yeah.
to your thing. So that's the early diagnosis there. Yeah, that's slightly harder. Yeah.
Yeah, look,
It's not as softy. The butter makes a difference in it.
could do with a few more knobs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you've always said that. You have always said that. Shall we move on to the antique water jug?
Yeah. So when you're like wine man.
Me,
Yeah.
wine man. Okay, yeah. When I'm wine man,
You like work around wine, don't you?
I do work around wine.
Because when in the UK, if anyone was referred to as like a wine man or wine person, that would mean bobo. But you've got a job in that for a vineyard.
Right. Yeah.
Or a vinter, is that what they're called?
A vinter? Yeah. So we've got our like winemakers. We've got cellar hands. So cellar hands basically like scrub the tanks and
It's like
aren't
a
the, like
good name for like a horror movie.
Edward Cellarhands.
Yeah. It's just hammered. Keeps cutting himself because he's got
no
motor skills.
Yeah, he's got
Just corking everything. So mouthfeel, what's the scale of that? Or like, do you just go, oh yeah, that's got good mouthfeel?
I think that, so like the three that we've had so
Talk
far,
about that.
I think that this is probably, talking about mouthfeel, the thinnest mouthfeel in the sense that it's quite lean on the palate, would be what I would say. In the sense that, so my understanding of what mouthfeel is if you have a glass of water, that's very thin. If you have a glass of milk, that's got quite like the textural feel of milk in your mouth. I don't know if you're lactose intolerant. I don't know if I'm excluding you from the conversation. Fantastic.
I'm milk positive, yeah.
Milk positive, I'm glad. So I think that this is more on the water side of things than milk.
Yeah.
Which is something that winemakers love you saying about their drops. So congrats to this winemaker. What's more expensive, water or milk? It really depends, because if you're getting like Voss water, pretty expensive. But if you're going but same thing goes for unhomogenized, very bougie milk coming from virgin cows from single
I
origin
reckon
sources.
this Mad Max reality that we're hurtling towards water will rapidly supersede milk.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be, people are complaining about the prices of petrol at the moment. I reckon that's going to be water not too far down the line. This being thinner, does it make it cheaper or more expensive?
$5.
$5?
Yeah.
So we'll go cheapest.
Yeah.
So this is the order you'd like to stick with?
Yeah. And if, I'm sorry to the people who wagered on it if I let them down.
Oh, there's big marketing going on here. So we are obviously playing for the opportunity to crown you the king of Chardonnay tastings today.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? Do you want to reveal from the expensive to the cheap, or from the cheap to the expensive?
Cheap to expensive.
All right, Lockie, what have we got in the French press? Have we got a cheap bottle or we got an expensive bottle? Cheap boy down here, what have we got? This is not the cheap boy. This is the $40 bottle. So this is...
There you go. I'd love it if I got it totally wrong. Yeah, right.
Look, I hope you do,
$40.
because it makes for better content for me personally.
Yeah.
The large Chardonnay, I'm going to just have a little... What I'm going to do right now is remove the crown, because you don't deserve that, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Luke. And you're not going to be able to have award-winning wine taste.
I don't lose all my other merits.
In my opinion, there's no reason for me to say this, because I could just be wrong, and me being wrong on camera doesn't benefit anyone except the audience. Think that this is going to be the cheapest one, the thinner one, and I think that you were right that this is the most expensive. But we'll see. Lockie, in the antique water pourer, what have we got? Yeah. This is $4 a bottle. Very drinkable though.
Yeah. Well done, Riverside Landon. Legends.
We had you before in our red wine episode, and you really punched above your weight there as well. So Riverside Landing, doing great things for the value for money. And that means, of course, that
seems like the
big bougie bottle at the top end here. This is $150 a bottle. It's your French Chardonnay. It's written in ways that I can't possibly... Do you want to... You're from Europe? Yeah. You're from Europe? Read that
Europe,
out.
Yeah. Prunière 2019, Bonheur. Meursault, les Grands Charons. Appellation Meursault Contoureur. I'm butchered that last one. Pascal Prunière, Bonheur, Meursault, France.
Look, you've done very well in the sense you've identified the expensive one. I think that this is a bit of an outlier in the sense that these two are quite similar in terms of the texture, and you've you've taken a bit of a gamble there, going maybe thin is expensive because, as we were saying, water's going to be a booming market coming up in 2025 potentially.
That and the old nostalgia things, but yeah, Riverside Landing seems like a good sort of recounting of a short battle. You know,
I see that.
Like there was the Riverside Landing. Let me tell you the day.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have you got anything coming up that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I'm doing Best of the Edinburgh Fest in Melbourne, and it's going to be great. And please come to see me or follow me on Instagram at Massive Benson. Okay.
He's a good follow on Instagram, trust me. I've been there for a week and a half and I'm having a wonderful time. Luke, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you in Melbourne sometime. Until then, cheers.